world. This is Kimberly and Connor Tracy over here at Big Red SEO. We hope you guys are doing fantastic this Friday. Hi, Connor.
Hello.
How are you?
Welcome back.
I know. Welcome back. I'm back in Omaha. Yay. I had the opportunity last weekend to see my coach live, as well as a lot of awesome souls and entrepreneurs, and had a blast traveling. But hey, we're going to dive in. So as you guys...
Give it a minute there.
Yeah. So Connor's like, hold on. So as you guys know, we actually restructured our Facebook Lives a little bit different, where we have specific agendas. And on the second week of the month, the agenda is to bring you a strategy. So a lot of these strategies are going to be things that we've applied ourselves, and or they're going to be the opportunities that we've had some clients be able to implement and experience success with, right? So the thought process is, today we want to talk about prospecting, because whether you've just launched or you've been in business for a while, you know that you need opportunities to come in for you to be able to sell and to make a great living, right? So the thought process with this is there's specific things that I've been able to test in not only my corporate world. This week I was actually asked like what other jobs I had, and it was quite interesting going through the audit of all the different types of sales that I've had. But what I can tell you is the one area of success, which I'll contribute to a book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It's about consistency, right? So like the thought process is a lot of you guys are owning your own business. You're stepping forward, you're entrepreneurs, and you wear multiple hats. And one of those hats is the sales and prospecting aspect, right? You know that sometimes you can get into the weeds. We have experienced that ourselves, where we get into the weeds of actually doing the projects, doing the work. And then so what happens is we take our eyes off of the sales. And so I kind of created this strategy, which I've implemented in a lot of my coaching clients, to kind of have like a metric and a grid, specific daily activities that can happen, which creates like such a compound effect, right? Welcome, Loveline. Glad you're here. Yay.
Hello.
So with this, I want to kind of just lay the platform on a couple things. One, this technique is going to give you the opportunity to build your pipeline consistently if you stick with it consistently, right? So that's the key word here, consistently. The other part too is you need to step in and commit. So what I mean by this is I see this happen all the time, whether we're talking to website design clients and even coaching clients. They're like, I want to do this thing. I want to go full force. And then they're like, but I don't believe it's going to work, right? You guys got to kind of clean that stuff up. Just a smidget tidbit. Like even if you're not good at sales, go ahead.
Well, I think even, if you don't believe in it yourself, then there's absolutely no way that it can actually work.
So that's a good Connorism for you guys that love his brutal honesty, right?
Don't get me wrong. Don't quote me as being the fake it till you make
merch.
it.
Yep. Merch.
Yeah.
Yep. Or silo pints. These are what these are.
Silly pints, yes. But no, it's not a fake it till you make it situation. But if you don't have your own belief in whatever it is that you're doing, that it will work.
Yeah.
It's doomed. It will not work.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, it's raw, right, guys? But I get like launching a business and figuring out where that confidence comes from. What I can say by tenfold from working in this business, right? Multiple six-figure business, as well as coaching six-figure business and all corporate. I was really, really good in the fact of I didn't let the belief of it not working enter into my brain, right? So to the point where, and I'll share with you guys as a bonus, something that I used to do is called blitz days. So I would actually pick up the phone and I would have the intention of making 100 phone calls that day. And for me, there's a lot of talk out there about so many dials, get so much engagement, get so much da-da-da-da. I personally didn't pay attention to all those logistics. My whole thought process is if I can touch 100 humans today, that was my intention and that was my goal. Whether people say yes or no or ask for quotes or not quotes, the point is I showed up. And the majority of the time, I had people ask for proposals. I had conversions. And the cool part about it was that at the time in my corporate world, management caught on and then they actually implemented out to the sales individuals, right? The sales teams. And we had specific blitz days. And then whoever won on the connections for proposals in quotes actually got bonuses. So guess who got bonuses? A lot, right?
We went to, I was going to say, vacation. We went on vacation. Yeah. We went on many dinners.
We bought furniture. Yeah. Like we did a lot of different things, right?
But, that goes down to, it's called the smile and dial mentality, where you're basically just, every time somebody answers and you go through your thing, it hangs up and then you start again. You look at marketers and telemarketers in particular. It's a brutal job for those guys. The abuse they get when they do call. Now, of course, everything is robo, so it doesn't really matter. So
here's the deal. I just have to clean this up just for a second because I was a telemarketer and I never got abused. I never got talked down to. I think I might have got hung up on once, and I actually had the balls to call them back and have a genuine conversation.
But was it you were calling businesses, not individuals?
It was a blend of both, right? Okay. Like it was in the recruiting world, right? So it was like not only the talent, but it was also the businesses. But I would just say, like, yes, like they can experience some specific sticky energy, and we won't get into that right now because this guy doesn't like telemarketers, so he of course interjects that energy onto them. So when he says they get beat up a lot, this is Connor, beat up.
It depends. So it really just depends on what I'm doing. If it's 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. 9:01, and you're calling me at 9:01 on a Monday morning. That's not going to go very far.
Right.
And don't call me on a Friday afternoon because that's not going to go very far.
Yeah. Okay. So to circle it back around, guys.
Telemarketing.
Okay. So the thing is one, you have to have a belief that it's going to work, right? And I get like if you're new to sales or it makes you a little bit nervous, I would say if you can transition that energy to see it as practice. So believe it or not, how we find our voice, how we hammer down our elevator pitches or our ability to articulate exactly what we do and why we do it and how we do it, right? It all comes down to practice. Like how many ears can you have hear what the message is that you have to say to the point whenever you say it, it just like rolls off the lips, right? And it doesn't feel salesy at that point. So there is some underlining other stuff here besides getting, people in the door, right? The other aspect is, consistency is required for a couple reasons. A lot of times when you contact somebody right out the gate, they might say no because they haven't really thought of it yet. It's the first time just from an energy realm that it's entered into their field, right? The old terminology was 7 connections in order to finally get somebody in for a sale, right? So that's like them walking in the door to say, hey, I want to sit down and meet with you, or let's hop on a call. Now, I think the numbers have changed and social media has changed that as well because we have different connections. But the thought process is, if you can stay in front of people consistently, and this is less marketing, SEO, stuff like that, if that makes sense. But if your person, your service, your product can stay in front of people consistently where it's not always salesy, that is the perfect prospecting garden, if that makes sense. And then there's the other area of it is if you're in an area where you're wanting to grow your business and get prospects, it's really important for you to identify in your community, in your contacts, in the people that you follow on Facebook, how are you supporting their business? So therefore, they'll genuinely want to support your business. There's a lot of individuals here specifically locally that I hear talk all the time of, oh, nobody's sending me referrals. Nobody's sending me referrals. Nothing's happening. And then I kind of invite the question of, okay, cool. Who have you helped out lately? Right? It's less like we don't want to keep tally of give and take, right? We do have extreme ownership in ourselves, but I can tell you that in my life, whenever I've always stepped forward and figured out how can I add value to anybody, whenever I have a promotion or I have a sale, they're able to amplify my message and they want to share it. They want to encourage for other people to find it, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. That was a big mouthful. Hopefully everybody's joined in here. I typically tag people for watching, but since I'm presenting, I'm doing less tech stuff.
I'm just going to sit here and be quiet.
So with that, if you're live, thank you for tuning in. It looks like we got Ann in as well from California. If you're watching the replay, welcome. So this is the part where I dive in. Okay. So really quickly in sales, it's important to establish the intention of what are you trying to do? And by intention, I mean, It's easier if you have a specific product that you can kind of put your blinders on and focus on to be able to start to ramp and get some momentum. And the reason for this is, say you have 7 products and you're reaching out to somebody. It's cool to reach out just in general, but sometimes people can get into that decision fatigue, even if you're prospecting. But if you have this one product and then you imagine the person in your brain, I'm going to kind of come from a visualization aspect. You can write their name on a piece of paper as well. And you think about their personality. Whenever you go through the process of reaching out to them, you're going to create a custom message. So within this part, it's important to set the intention of what's the product, what's the service, what's the intention, what are you attempting to get them to purchase, opt in, buy. Are you wanting them to attend a Facebook Live? Are you wanting them to sign up for a newsletter? Are you wanting them to buy a product? Figure out what that intention is.
Yeah, or even just feedback, reaching out to customers, even asking past clients for reviews, for example.
Yeah.
And we've done this where we've had to call up people or send out emails and then do follow-up phone calls of, hey, can you leave a review? Some people will, some people won't. We have NDAs and, that's just how our business operates. But you have to know what, again, with the intention end of things, what is it specific?
It's a big word, guys. Do you guys have a problem saying the word specifically? If you do, put a message down below. That was a big word for
yes,
you.
It was. It was a huge one.
It was like spaghetti.
Specific. So knowing specifically what it is that you want out of that transaction, out of that communication, calling up and just saying, hey, what's the weather like? That's perfectly fine too. If it's a genuine, just, hey, what's going on? But the thing that you don't want to do is call up and then just throw everything at them. Hey, we're doing this. Hey, we're doing this. Oh, by the way, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, and the next thing you know, it's, as you said, decision fatigue.
Yeah, and it can get kind of sticky, right? Because people, whether you believe in energy or not, people read energy and intention first. So that's the reason why for having it. Now, there is nothing wrong with having the intention of you want to sell something that you have. I truly have this belief that sales is our divine right. And if we're in a specific product and service, it's all about the approach, right? So step 1 is to determine an intention. If for whatever reason you're in you're selling a service and you don't really have packages, say that everything's custom. I wish I would have known this 2 years ago, right?
Even longer.
True confession, guys. Create a package, even if it's a small intro package even if it's a small promotion that's a one-off spin. Create something. It's cool to have custom. We still are. A lot of our business is custom, believe it or not.
Yeah, the majority.
But it's really easy to lead in with something, right? So like leveling for you, tea towels. Man, I was in San Diego and I was like, get the tea towels, tea towels, tea towels. I had to make sure I didn't steal her thunder. I'm like, buy the tea towels, right? Because they're really beautiful. And then I feel the essence of them, right? So there's a specific product. But with this, so you have your intention of whatever the product and service is. So every day, start with sending out 3 ships. Have the intention. Now, I personally love to create characters and things, right? So with this visual aspect, me just being me, guys, this is what I jam out with. This is what I help businesses coach. I've taken people from, $2,000 a month to 5 figures really quick and really fast. So the thought process is send 3 ships out. Have the intention of sending 3 ships out a day. So for me, what ships are is it's quotes, it's official proposals. So the difference is, hey, go ahead and shoot me some information. Hey, I'm interested. Send me the details, right? You could feel the energetic difference there, right? It's also sending invoices out and then sending contracts. So depending on what your process is, the intention is to open your eyes and identify where can you send 3 ships in a day. Now, when you very first start, you might be like, Kim, I'm not sure I know that many contracts. I'm not sure if I know the deal. So here's the deal is if you're already doing the hustle, you more than likely are already sending out different things. So count those in too, right? Count those in as the number. But the thought process is keep your eyes open for other opportunities where somebody's like, hey, I'm looking for this thing, or hey, I want this thing. Cool. Let's see if we can have a conversation. Let me send you some details. Let me send you some pricing. By day 4, you will actually start to feel the flow and the momentum of opening and expanding your entire your vision, right? And here's the other part. This actually invites you to reach out to other people and say, hey, I just created, or I have this promotion of da 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 da. I wanted to reach out and see, do you know anybody specifically that would be the ideal target market for this? If so, can you do an introduction? Can you send them my way? Believe it or not, people want to help other people. And if you say it from an essence, which if any of you guys are smart, I would totally like rewind and copy and write that on a notebook. That was pretty good. I'm really good at the one-hit wonders on the fly.
Good girl,
I know, good girl.
One word of caution on that is go back to what you were talking about, because now I've lost my train because Kim's like, I'm so awesome.
So it's like reaching out to individuals to see like who do they know that might want the promotion to make the connection. No, he's done. He's done.
Clicking.
Okay, so
it was really, really good though.
Yeah.
So I deserve my pat on the back too.
So the thought process is with these 3 ships, right? And it could be orders. Like say that you have an intent.
I've got it.
Goodness.
Sorry. So with your phone call out or with your connection out, you're calling out with whatever the item is, not I'm thinking about offering this.
Correct.
Okay. It has to be something that you've already established. You've already decided this is what you're going to offer. This is what you're going to ask for.
That was perfect.
You're not doing
He's just so good, guys. You would think he's in charge of sales.
You think so. But you're definitely not calling out, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think?
Yeah.
You're not asking for feedback. This is sales.
This is
you're
like
not
you're here to get stuff done, right, guys? And here's the intention, or here's the deal. Go all the way back around. There has to be a specific intention. Why are you doing it? Yeah, you could say, well, I want sales to come in the door. That's genuine. I get that. I get that, guys. That's why we're here, right? There's multiple different layers why we're here. But the thought process is it's almost like a tango. You almost have to like draw somebody in to be like, hey, I was thinking about you this afternoon and I created this promotion and I feel like it would be great for you. Or I feel like you know people that would really benefit from this. I feel like this would add value to your life. It would add value to your home, to your business, and so forth. And then like kind of step back and be like, let me know if you want any details. And believe it or not, they will flow. So really quick, it popped in. So Connor was talking about before, like we would make phone calls to ask for reviews, to follow up for reviews, right? From our business, a lot of people love us, but they don't want to give us reviews because they don't want other people to know about us. It's something that we love and we do appreciate because they're like, I have an SEO person and I'm not going to tell anybody. It's almost like we're the best kept secret, if that makes sense.
There's a fine line between it, because if you tell other people about your marketing team, then people know you're doing marketing and what it is you're actually doing. So in a lot of ways, you wouldn't share that information.
Yeah.
So, for a long time, it bothered me that our reviews were so low. That bothered me.
I had to have the come to the conversation.
Really, the thing that offset all that was the bank account was really high. So I didn't really care anymore.
Right. Like that's the thought process. But with that, we would ask for reviews and we would follow up for phone calls. And here's the deal, guys. Like they would say, hey, I've been thinking for a while. I wanted to update da-da-da-da-da on my website. Can you send me a proposal? Do you guys get this? Like there's multiple different layers where we would get proposals, quotes, or just send me an invoice scheduled to do the work, right? And it's a way to be able to keep into contact. Now, asking for reviews might be a very warm way for you to get in front of your tribe. Like if somebody has bought something from you, product, service, time, you have a right, I think a divine right, to ask them for a review and to make the connection, right? Mainly so you can find other people that are like-minded like them in the prospecting. And if you don't ask that, you're missing out, right?
Yeah, you've to use your analogy, you've missed the boat.
Yeah, you missed the boat, the ship, right? And I'll explain what happens with the ships here in a second because it's kind of cool.
Well, why don't you explain it now?
Yeah, so it's got to be a whole big picture.
Okay,
right?
So Kim has a process.
The thought process is in the ships, like look for them every day. By day 4, you're going to start to feel the flow and the momentum, and then all of a sudden you'll be like ping, 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 right? And then the other thought process is establish 3 follow-ups a day. So again, I love numbers, right? I'm a super busy business owner. So I like don't really go into the massive numbers, right? I'm like, at what point can I commit every single day? If you guys want to go higher in numbers, cool, do it. Just know that you can scale back if you need to. If you need to go lower numbers, okay, that's awesome. But the thought process I would say is, why not just go with 3, right? And instead of just doing 1. I get it. Like 1's kind of comfortable for some people, right? But we don't want you comfortable. We want you to grow. So the thought process is figure out 3 follow-ups. So follow-ups can be a phone call. It could be like, hey, I saw you at such and such event. Hey, it was so great to see you in San Diego. Can we hop on a call so I can learn more about your business? Get it? Like it's about them and it's about you learning about them. And with that, if you set a connection call, a follow-up, ask them questions about their business and what their ideal clients are and see who you know that might be able to resonate with that. And then be curious, or it could be, curious and brave enough to ask them if they know somebody that might like your product and service, that might value from your product and service. Sales is not comfortable for a lot of people. So believe it or not, having a phone conversation where you're asking and leaning in and being like, hey, like, who is your ideal client? In what way could I present you if I'm at a coffee shop? Can you tell me like kind of some of the basics that you are looking to onboard in the next three months, if that makes sense?
And even with that, with your conversation, when you're reaching out or talking to the different people and you're asking, as Kim said, you're asking this information and then you're bringing in your thing. If you're asking them how things are going or what it is that's going on,
right?
That has to be genuine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
cannot be just the way of opening up the door so that you can get your message in there. You literally have to be genuinely interested in what it is they're doing or what it is they've accomplished. If the phone call ends at that point, after you've asked your question, how are things going? I heard this, whatever. And they say, hey, well, I got to go. All right, no big deal. And you're done. Yeah. And there should be no disappointment in that. You got the information that you needed, which was a genuine question of how things are going. And if there's an opportunity for you to be able to spin things back around, then that's what you do. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but that was my flirty face with him because I like how he says the word genuine instead of genuine. It's genuine. A genuine conversation. No, so seriously. Okay, we're done.
No, it's good. No, seriously, like what you said was very valid, right? So people can feel if it's just about you, right? And I get in sales, yes, again, the intention is you're looking to fill your pipeline, you're looking to get prospects and grow. I would just invite you to look at it a tad bit different of, okay, cool, I'm going to sell my products and services. But before I do that, I really genuinely want to see where is everybody at? What are they doing? What's the fun things that they're up to? If you continue with that type of strategy, right, and you ride that and you ride it hardcore, I am telling you, your business will grow leaps and bounds and you will have people selling for you. Like we're the majority of referral based. 1, because we do a really good service, but 2, because we're always asking, like, how can we add value to other people? And what way can we help you? Who are you looking for? What are you doing? I was part of networking in person for many, many years. And I would sit in those classes or the events and I would watch people just go through the motions. And you can ask this guy, every time I would get in the car, I would be like, my intention is to land one project. And I made buku money because when I walked into the room, the thought process was, where is a ship that I can send in the day? But I couldn't walk up and be like, hey, do you want an SEO proposal for 9 months? Like, let's get it on. Instead, I had to like backtrack and be like, hey, how is business going? What areas are you looking to grow? Is there anything that I can make a connection? By the way, I know this person that might be able to add value. And then before you know it, they come to me months later and say, hey, I'm ready for SEO. And then that would be classified as a ship, right? So it's like a compounding effect. Kind of like a pot, like what do they call that? The thing that you put in the pot that you put all the things in. What's that thing called? A crock pot. Done. I figured it out on my own. Y'all.
Did anybody else know she was going that direction?
I don't know if they did. Did. But I do agree with the genuine because people are going to feel that, right? And there's a difference where if you're nervous or you have anxiety of picking up the phone, they'll feel that. But guys, like people are drawn to live videos on Facebook like this because they want people to be raw and genuine, right? So they will accept the nervousness, the tripping over your words as you kind of get used to saying the things. But one thing people don't have a lot of tolerance for is it's all about you, right? And I get like the pressure sales of no is never a no. I don't really agree with that. It's just my jam. Like I will stretch people if they say no, I'll stretch them a little further, right? But at the end of the day, if it's a no for them, I kind of honor that. But here's the deal. I'll still circle back around and stay in front of them, right? Because you never know what else connection that I can assist them with. Again, me adding value to them, right? But then in addition to it, you don't know where you'll land. We had one buddy that was like, no, 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 no. And then he launched his business. And he's like, yes. And it was like a massive hell yes, right? We had another that was like, no, no, no. And it was like 7 years, guys, 7 years of no's. And we just stayed in circles, stayed in circles, stayed in circle. Again, the ships, the proposals, the connections, just kept him in, kept him in, kept him in. He bought a business. He sold that business in less than 2 years, bought another business, and then bought another business. And guess who did the marketing for all those businesses, right, which landed him to buying more businesses, right? Like it's,
and even from that end, it's not just, you know, one of the things that I've done over the years, some people that I have worked with in the past, or I know that they will eventually need marketing businesses of a variation, and that I'll go play golf. You know?
Yeah, golf is a good one for him. If you're a golf player, by far the perfect. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I totally stole the show. I'll add in.
No, I don't think I have much further, but no, it's just.
I don't think I have much further, and but yes,
No, for me, doing a golf thing, you know, whether it's a tournament thing and invite somebody over to go do a tournament, or you're just going out for the weekend, it's just another way of staying in contact. Yep. But again, it's the genuine part. Genuine.
He says it so good, it just rolls off his lips.
The genuine end of things that you really do want to be in contact with that person. You know, I'm not going out to play 5 hours of golf or 4 hours of golf with somebody that I don't have time to be around or don't have an interest to be around. I leave the course.
However, yeah, we won't go into that. We'll leave that one at that one, right? That's a different episode for Connor and whiskey and his views on that, okay? So if you establish 3 follow-ups a day, right? So follow-ups could be, first off, ideal follow-up is pick up the phone and call. There is less and less people picking up the phone and calling. And there was a conversation I actually had with somebody. They were like, don't millennials just text and message? I don't care what age bracket you land. There is a specific, it's just like when people pick up the phone and call me and they're like, hey, I just wanted to catch up. Like my heart expands, my mind expands. It's different than getting a text messages. Text messages are acceptable. Messengers are acceptable. I'm not saying that they're not. But be brave enough to pick up the phone and actually call. Be brave enough to want to strengthen your voice, right? Like text and emails and messages, yes, they could be part of the follow-up process, but there's something else that happens when you show up and actually pick up the phone. And a lot of the clients that I coach with, the first area that they resist is picking up the phone. And when they blow through the resistance of picking up the phone and actually making the call. So here's the deal. Really quick example that just flew in. If you are selling a product, right? If you're selling whatever your product is, you could do this for a service too, but if you sell a product and you ship a product, pick up the phone a couple days after they've received the product and ask them how things are going. Here's the reason why. A lot of people will ship and they think, okay, it's done, it's over. But you want to hear what they want about the product. Yeah, you can like send an automated, hey, review my products. Hey, do these things. There's a lot of automation, right? One, it takes balls for somebody to pick up the phone. But number 2, I actually have multiple people do it. And it makes me want to tell other people about their products even more. Does that make sense? Because then it's a white glove service. It's like, hey, did you get your product? There's one specific person in my energy circle that did this. She actually is really good at what she does. And she followed up afterwards. And I was like, oh my God, like I feel special. Like somebody remembered me past me just buying something, right? And so just pick up the phone and actually call and see.
So with all of that, when I ran my old hosting company, so one of the things that I did, every time somebody placed an order, now we had over 5,000 clients at right there before I sold it, but every single client I have talked to.
Yeah.
I've actually talked to them on the phone.
Yeah, a lot of these strategies, y'all, came from him, meaning I learned from him. I was a beginner's mind when I started my business, right? So I automatically went and plugged into him and been like, so what do you do and how do you do it? And I watched him. And going from a business that was basically web and watching somebody just have the brilliance to pick up the phone and call. And people still, even with him selling, I think 3-4 years ago, they know him. They Google his name and they find him. So he had to shut down a lot of other stuff and avenues to find it. They find you, which is brilliant. Is brilliant.
No, it basically the thing was that every person, I wanted to have that personal connection with each person. And the way that we got around it, or the way that I used it all, was we did a voice verification. So when somebody signed up for a web hosting package, I would call them usually within 15, 20 minutes of them signing up and saying, hey, I'm the owner of Hands On, and that I'm just calling. And that I'm just calling to verify that you place an order. We've gotten it squared away and you should have an email in your mailbox. Yeah. Now, there were a couple of things that happened there. I was doing a credit card verification, making sure that it wasn't a spammer or it wasn't a fake order. But the second was that personal touch. And a lot of the people would say, oh, wow, I can't believe the owner of the company is calling me.
Get that, guys? The owner. So if the owner has the tenacity to pick up the phone and call, and I just want to say this real quick. A lot of owners kind of get this attitude and personality of, I'm the owner, I shouldn't have to call. I'm the owner, I shouldn't da-da-da-da-da-da. I have seen the trend, like we've been doing this for 9 years. I have seen a trend where more sales will convert when an owner talks to an owner. It just happens. Yep. And when there's a mutual respect and a mutual integrity and mutual added value, like those ships rise together, right? So carry on.
So that was it. But basically, make that phone call, make that connection, and as you said, with regards to the products that are going out, make that follow up. Yeah. It gives that personal touch, but it also opens up that avenue for communication that, hey, I really do give a shit and I want to know what's going on. Yeah.
And so here's the thought process for you guys. Again, 3 follow-ups a day. So that could be a phone call. That could be so first off, do a phone call. Second option is follow through a sequence in email. Third is text. Fourth is a Facebook message. And then, so the thought process.
Move your hand into the screen.
Sorry, guys. So the thought process is this follow-up is less about proposals, right? It's less about contracts and payments, and it's more about you adding value. You saying, hey, how's life going? Or you saying, hey, can you tell me more about your business? Hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. Let's figure out how we can benefit each other, right? So 3 follow-ups. It could also be like, say you met somebody at an event that was interested in your product, but they weren't really sure. They asked for a business owner. That would be another thing of a follow-up that you can do. I had, when I very first started this technique, now I've kind of streamlined a little bit different. And I don't want to distract you guys with my streamline process. I'll talk about it in the future. The core is that you get the structure now so you can start it. But I used to have a binder filled with business cards. And then I didn't even have to think about who am I following up with today. I would put them in order and then I would do it on specific days. So when I walked in, I knew the 3 people I was going to connect with. And then I knew the 3 people I was going to follow up with the next day and the next day and the next day. Again, compound effect. It comes to doing it consistently to the point where by day 3, day 4, you have a flow. And then all of a sudden it's less of, well, who am I going to contact? Because your brain's going to try and confuse you, right? You have enough people. Even if you only have 20 contacts, that's enough to do this for 7 days, right? So the thought process is establish 3 follow-ups. Calls are best. 3.
3 in the monitor.
Yeah. So here's the other thought process, right? So determine where you can actually make 3 connections. And what I mean by this is more online connection strategy. It's who can you follow on Facebook? Who can you actually connect with via email? It's a little bit different than follow-ups, right? So connections is more like just a cold connection. You meet somebody at a coffee shop, boom, they're a connection, right? You meet them at a networking event, boom, there's a synergy. It's more of, hey, so I made a connection. I had tea with a brilliant soul today, and through conversations, she needed a service, and then I knew the person to connect them with, so I reached out to the other individual and said, hey, are you offering A, B, and C? She said yes, and I was like, cool, I made the connection for them, right? So that would be classified as one of my connections. So it's more of just a genuine, that's the key hint with this connection, genuine, hey, how's it going? One of my favorite things, y'all, I'm just going to say it. So I personally love making connections by writing and sending out handwritten notes. Right. So I was doing something at the beginning of this week or last week. I'm not really sure. And I sit down and I have the intention and I have the addresses. Granted, you'll probably have to prep and figure out, oh my gosh, where do people live? What are their address? Again, if you make a connection beforehand, asking somebody's address, it doesn't feel as sticky, right? But say you're selling a product or you have a service and in your invoice, they put their address. They have to put their address for you to process their credit card. You have their mailing address, right? So it was either late last week, early this week. I get a text message or I get a message and it said, hey, is this you? Did you send this? It feels like it's you. And sometimes when I send handwritten notes, I don't actually put a return address. But there's specific things that I do on the envelope that before they open it, they actually know it's me, right? I don't necessarily put my name, but I was like, oh my gosh, like this is super cool. Somebody texted me back that was me, but they knew it was me. I personally love handwritten notes. When I get them, guys, like I just... the magic that happens, and especially when I get them from clients, right? Like whether it's a, hey, thank you so much or so forth. So don't question out. Connections could be great calls, emails, but it also can be handwritten notes. So if you make an intention to write 3 handwritten notes a week, who has impacted your life? Who's stepping forward on Facebook? Who is launching their business? And you're like, I love what you're doing. And I'm learning from you consistently all the time. So the thought process is in connections, at what way are you not, connections are not salesy, right? It's more like stepping in and being like, hey, there's a difference between connection and follow-up, right? Does that make sense? Hopefully you guys are getting this. I'm like really lit. Emily's here. Connor, she wants more whiskey episodes. No whiskey today.
No whiskey
today. But I do
today.
have our merchant. We got these like years back, and did you call them solo pints? Silly pints. So they're made out of silicone, and on the bottom they actually have where you can return.
Turn it up.
Yeah, you can return them so they can get recycled properly, which is super cool, right?
So it made of silicone. You can. One of the neat things, one of the selling points on it was that you could make brownies in it.
Yeah.
And then put that in the oven.
Yeah.
And you can
that was why I bought them, y'all. Because I could like cook brownies and put them in the oven. And I've never had a brownie set up like this, but hey, it is what it is, right? Okay. So the next area in prospecting, first off, if you guys are getting this, awesome. I love it. Well, I mean, I'm going to just do what I do because I've got people saying that they're loving it. So
okay. That's fine. So did you need to recap anything or you?
No, we're going to recap at the end.
Okay. Okay. There's an end.
So here's the deal, guys. Every day. So we've already got 3 ships. I'll feed you, right?
Thank you. 3
ships, which means sending out proposals, contracts, quotes, invoices, getting payments type of things, right?
Turn this so your other hand can get in the picture.
Yeah.
There you go.
The other part is 3 follow-ups, right? So it's start with a phone call, emails, text, Facebook messages, however you want to do it. Less about proposals, contracts, payments, and more about adding value, right? Like whatever version of adding value that is there. The third one is make 3 connections. So whether it's handwritten note or reaching out, hey, I saw you on Facebook, love the family, congratulations on the new pet. Like, do you guys get it? Like, it's not just about business at this point because you want to be in front of other people. So connections also, I mean, creatively, how you can get around it is, say that you see somebody on Facebook and you actually not only like or love their status, but you actually put a comment that could be classified as a connection if you want to. I do that all the time. The next area is 5 phone calls a day.
That's a tough one.
Did anybody else's pit start to sweat? So the thought process with this is, again, like, I'm going to leave it to you if it's you like letting somebody know about a promotion you've got or you following up on an order that was placed. Or, I mean, technically, you could probably even pick up the phone and ask, hey, do you know anybody that's looking for a Christmas holiday gift? I've got a couple different unique options, right? I'm going to let you decide that. But the intention of these 10 phone calls a day is for you to step in and tell people what is it you do, or well, first off, who you are, what is it you do, why you can help them or somebody else in their community, somewhere else within the universe, and then what it is that you actually need or want from them, right? The clients that actually pick up the phone and call, you cannot be attached to the outcome. What I mean by this is if somebody says, no, I'm not interested, you can't take it personal. Don't assume, don't take it personal. Some people are just not going to be ready, and that's cool. Your entire duty is to just pick up the phone and make the calls, but also don't make it autopilot, right? So don't just be like, oh, I got to do 10 calls. Like, let's just do.
Let me do them and get them out of the way.
Right? I'm going to do the calls. Guys, intention and energy is going to set this up, right? It might get to the point where if you actually commit to doing 10 calls and you hit by day 5, you're like, Cam, I've got too much business. I've got to process all this stuff. Cool. Like, you decide if 10 makes sense moving forward. But what I would do is I would make 10 phone calls over the next 7 business days. Guys, it makes a difference. And whenever I start working with...
Clarification there. You said make 10 calls over the next 7 days. That's 10 calls per day.
Yeah, so 10 phone calls per business day over the next 7 days. Does that make sense? Again, you can lessen the calls and the numbers if you want. These are the metrics that I've tested and I've done myself and got results and have my coaching clients. So when I onboard somebody at the very, very beginning, the first thing I do is figure out what the intention is, figure out what the product and the service is, right? Because they've invested in my coaching, and my coaching is it's not small chump change, right, guys? I really step in dynamically. And then so their thought process is they've just invested in, right? And sometimes investing can be scary depending on the amount. And so my first intention is, all right, awesome. Let's get your pipeline filled so they get that investment back really quick and really fast, right? If you're brave enough to make the 10 calls per day, and I'm giving the caveat of 7 business days, because maybe some people don't work on weekends. Maybe some people do work on weekends, right? You figure that part out, but actually picking up the phone is going to help you practice your elevator pitch, your voice, your package, your being able to hear no. And again, don't take it personal. Be unattached to the outcome. So within all of these different activities, what can happen is if you stay consistent, it's a compound effect. All of a sudden one day, like say if you keep with it, day 21, you walk into the office and all of a sudden you've got 17 ships coming at you. Because here's the deal is the ships that you send out, the 3 ships you send out a day, the 3 connections you make a day, right? The 3 follow-ups you make a day, all of a sudden they will start to convert and come in their own unique timing. So it may not land all at once. So it's a thing where you have to step in and you have to do, and you have to stay consistent with it, be unattached to the overall and just look at the metrics and be like, okay, I'm going to do ... and I'm going to consistently do ... type of thing, right? All of a sudden you'll walk in one day and there's ships in your ocean and they're coming in, and it's less you having to sell. Now I invite you when this happens, because I'm going to say it will happen if you do it. I've seen it time and time again, guys. Here's what I will tell you. Don't stop. So the key shift here is the compound effect. And if you get to the point where you're like, gosh, Kim, I can't manage all these things. It's so cute. Loveline just did the face of 70 calls. Ooh, right? Loveline, the people that are placing your orders, right? The like maybe it's the individuals that can actually have your products at their locations. That could be classified as a call, right? Maybe it's holistic clinics or holistic areas, yoga studios. More and more yoga studios are selling heart-filled products of all different artists, right? Like here in Omaha, we have the thing called the Hop Shop, or what's that thing, that artist thing over in Omaha?
Oh, Hot
Shops,
right?
H-O-T. So Hot Shops, I think it has like 60 or 70 different artists in one building, right? Like that would be a gold mine for you to just place calls, all different art. I get it, right? So the numbers can kind of be a little, right? Back to the focus. If you do this, don't stop.
Yeah, and one thing with the don't stop end of things, once you've gotten off the phone or you've received the email of a sale, and you've received the yes, you know it's moving forward, it is moving forward, or you just collected the payment, that is the time to pick up the phone and make your next call. You're already on that high. So use that to your advantage and take it to the next step.
Right.
Don't, any of the stuff that comes in, I mean, that's when you definitely want to compound, as you said. Just make those phone calls and double up on it.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. Like, it works. I've seen it time and time again. It's one of the ways that we actually launch the business and establish and continue the pipeline being filled over and over and over, right? Sometimes it's not for everyone. It's kind of interesting. Once I said the 10 calls, all of a sudden the people that were watching exited out. They're like, yes, no, right?
That's too much work.
I get it. And like, the thing is eventually it gets easier, right? And so a couple of things that I get countered sometimes, especially with coaching clients, I'll use this as an example. They're like, I don't have that many people to call.
That would be my excuse.
They actually do. Like, they may not have a lot of people in their CRM, but they know friends and they know family and they know people in their community and they can connect with people in Facebook. Again, it's all about the compound effect, right? Like, it's one of those. And then also just being brave enough to just pick up the phone and call a stranger and be like, this is what I do, and I'm really good at it, and I'm super passionate about it. I want to add value to your business. Can you add value to my business? Let's go. Let's grow. Right?
And you're saying pick up the phone and make these calls.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you can't do that in person.
Absolutely.
And it's going to have a little bit more weight when you're there in person.
When you're in person, it will have a lot more weight.
But the downside of the in-person end is that you're going to spend a lot of time traveling from spot to spot.
Yep.
And that's where that phone is really going to come in handy. You could be doing this in and out, hour and a half in a day, and you're done.
Dude, so here's the deal. I do this in my car, right? So like, I'm in between appointments and I'll make one call here, one call there, one call here, one call there, right? I might do 3 calls in the office. People call in. I count those. If it's a phone call, whether it's coming in or it's going out, I count it, guys. And then like that's the thing. And that's the thought process is it's a compound effect, right? Like, so again, hopefully you're open to it. Our business has grown substantially from it, and you've even like adapted some of it, not as high on the numbers,
yes,
right?
I have adapted some of it. I've adapted the parts where I go play golf and smoke cigars.
Which is classified as a connection, right? Or a follow-up, right? Like
I have met many clients at the cigar place. Yeah. So, but stepping in, making those phone calls or visiting with those people in person, it's always a good thing. Yeah. And even with people that you don't know, being in those communities, being in those environments where you can make those connections, that's your next step. We were at a Facebook event last month.
Yeah.
I think it was last month. It had to be last month. We're in October. Anyways, we were at a Facebook event. Now there's probably 200 people there in the room, but that was a great opportunity to be able to network with some other people that are either involved or wanting to learn how Facebook and the social media systems all work.
Right.
And we ended up making a really good connection with a gentleman in Lincoln.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple phone calls back and forth. And so that was an opportunity that we wouldn't have had if we hadn't gone to this free event that I think it was an hour event, hour and a half, something like that. But the thing was that the opportunity was out there. You just have to go get it. Yep. And that's the same in any business. The opportunity is there.
Yep.
You have to do the work to get it done.
Yeah. And that's the thing, guys. Like sometimes in sales, a lot of people don't talk about metrics like this. Like I created it because my brain thrives off of law of order, right? So when I walk in, and it might take some prep, I don't know. When I very first started it, I was just like 3, 3, 3, 10, right? So I'm like, boom, 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 boom. And I would get it to the point where as soon as I woke up and I started my day, I would do this, right? Like whenever I very first started, because I was like, okay, everybody else is asleep or nobody else is doing da-da-da-da-da. I'll just slide in and actually do these things, right? Less phone calls earlier in that morning, unless I knew they were early birds, right? So like that's the other thing is if you know your people are morning people, like pick up the phone and call them in the morning, right?
And don't forget about time zones.
Yeah.
If you're in California and you've got clients potentially in New York, go ahead, get up early. It's already the middle of their day.
Yeah, and so I would just tag in and I would just do this, right? And then now I kind of break it up a little bit more. But I don't know. Hopefully you guys do it. It's a very unique process. I created it, tested it myself. I have my coaching clients do it. If you could bust through the phone call, that's where the most resistance is. And again, not attached to, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Not attached to, are people going to like me or not like me? So really quickly, just dropped in. A lot of people say that they actually, they feel like they're going to get rejected, right? They feel like they're going to be, like they feel anxiety because they're afraid they're going to get rejected, right? I would counter that. What I have found time and time again with working with my clients is it's actually not the fact that you're worried about being rejected, and it's not the fact that you're worried about people liking you. What's really the core is that you're upset at the fact that you actually care about being rejected and being liked, if that makes sense. Yes, we want our products to thrive. Yes, we want everybody to say yes. But if they say no, like just honor the fact that like maybe right now is not the right fit for them. I had a call last night with a potential prospect, and it was quite interesting because having the conversation of pricing and stuff like that, it kind of got a little uncomfortable for the individual, and it was cool. I get it. I understand. Right. And the thought process is, you know, if it's not good right now, that's cool. Would you like me to add you to a list for a different promotion? Or I would invite you to follow us on Facebook, because we do a weekly Facebook Live where we add value for businesses, right? You can sign up for our newsletter. You can get information material. Our website's filled with tons of blog articles and information. So the thought process is the conversation doesn't have to stop if somebody says no, or if somebody just says, you know, right now might not be the right time. The thought process is, cool, where else can you add value, right? And you can know just by me stating this during the call, I added value to the other person as well and learned about them and what are they looking for and how do they adapt and how do they thrive and what way could I help in any essence to add value to them. Does that make sense?
And even from their end to be able to reflect themselves on their own business or on their own process to be able to take it to the next step.
So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you thrive off of this. Hopefully you take action with it. It's like one of my favorites. It's like 3-3-3-10. Kapow! Like, let's do it. But yeah, so that's it for me and my show. Does anybody have any questions before we sign off? Connor's giving me the look of, hey, yo.
Hey, it's almost been an hour.
Hey, it's almost been an hour. We try to make these things short, and it just doesn't work.
The goal is 20 minutes. But, you know.
We say that about the bedroom, too. The goal is 20 minutes, and hours later. No, Connor's
okay, we're done.
He's like all like, hey, Jeremy, what's going on, man? If you have any questions, feel free to ping them below. I'm happy to answer them live on the fly here. We'll just take a couple minutes in case there's any questions. If you're feeling resistance, pop in there. Let's chat it out. I mean, you have access to me right now. Where did I go? Like,
you're here.
Okay,
there.
Cool. I
was checking the other piece.
People can still see me. Well, no, like people might be typing in. Don't just say wrap up. Okay, so if there is no questions going once, going twice, sold. All right, I think everybody got it. I think it was very straightforward.
All right, then you have to wait the 20 seconds to find out if there was anything.
Yeah.
We're on a 20-second delay.
I think we're good. But, I mean, I have it on my mobile, so I think we're good. So It looks like Loveline, adorable. She's so good. Anne joined us. Emily joined. Nicole joined. Look at you guys. Deb joined. She does a Facebook Live Friday thing too. It's kind of cool. Casey joined. Oh, Casey, she's got good products. Emily, yay, Rebecca and Jeremy. Thank you guys all for tuning in live. Thank you for everybody that's joining us for the replay. Connor's going to take this live and do his magic in his software editing and load it into YouTube. It will still be available within the page, so if you need notes. Sometimes YouTube's a little bit easier to write everything down, so if you have to watch it again. But I hope you guys enjoy this strategy, and I hope you build your business and actually take consistent action. Compound effect, guys. Till next time. Thanks so much. See you later.
Bye, guys. Bye now. Thank you.